You won't believe what unfolded behind the scenes at the Today Show. It was something that didn't just catch fans off guard, but even stunned her fellow co-hosts. For weeks, the audience kept wondering the same thing. What happened to Sheinelle Jones? That familiar face, always beaming, always adding warmth to our mornings, had suddenly vanished. No farewell. No notice of a break, nothing at all. Just silence. Morning after morning, people tuned in, waiting for her return. But her seat remained empty. And then the rumors started swirling. Was she on vacation? Had she fallen ill? Did she quietly step away from the show? The reality was far more heartbreaking than anyone imagined. On January 15th, Sheinelle finally chose to speak out. She shared a short message on Instagram. "I'm taking time to deal with a family health matter." And that was all. No names, no context. Just a single sentence that raised more questions than it answered. But here's the shocking part behind that one sentence was a storm no one could have seen coming. People scoured her social media for clues, but everything seemed perfectly normal.
There were old birthday tributes, adorable anniversary snapshots with her husband, Uche Ojeh, and warm shoutouts to fans. Not a single sign of sorrow. But behind that composed appearance, her entire world was unraveling. Her husband, the man she'd been with for over 16 years, the father of her children, was silently battling for his life. And Sheinelle, known to millions as a public figure, was suddenly a wife fighting a deeply private war. Here's where it gets even more poignant. Not many knew the love story that began long before Sheinelle ever became a TV personality. She met Uche in Philadelphia, the same city where she was born. She often spoke fondly of it, but what most didn't realize was how deeply that place was tied to the story of her life and her love. She once reflected on how she never expected to fall in love in her hometown. Yet that's where she found the person who would change her world. They married in 2007, and it wasn't just a wedding. It marked the beginning of a journey that would become a core part of who she was. She used to share little humorous stories about their relationship, like how she still kept her childhood Cabbage Patch doll on the bed after they got married, and how her grandmother told her it was time to let it go. "You've got a husband now." It was those small human moments that made people feel connected to her. But fate had other plans. While she smiled on TV, laughed alongside co-hosts, and inspired countless viewers, her life behind closed doors was crumbling. The man who once kissed her cheek in birthday selfies, the man she called her best friend, was now going in and out of hospitals, battling a ruthless illness, glioblastoma, a severe, fast-moving brain cancer that offers little time and even fewer answers. After her post in January, everything went silent once again. No interviews followed, no behind-the-scenes accounts, no updates at all. Many assumed that things might be improving. But in reality, things were rapidly getting worse at home. Sheinelle was caught in a nightmare, one she never brought into the public eye. Uche's condition was far more critical than anyone outside their inner circle ever realized. Doctors had diagnosed him with glioblastoma, a term most people had never even heard of before. But for Sheinelle, it had become painfully familiar. This cancer didn't just invade, it took away time, it robbed memories, and it shattered peace. Let me tell you, behind every smile she posted in older photos, there was hidden fear. Behind each quiet moment, chaos was lurking. She tried to keep life as normal as possible for the kids. School drop-offs, bedtime routines, family dinners. She kept it all going. But inside, her world was falling apart. She didn't reveal any of it publicly. That's just the kind of person she was. Strong, deeply private, and full of hope. But here's the most surprising part. Even those closest to her on Today had no idea just how bad things had become, until the very end. Then, on May 23, 2025, everything shifted. Live on the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie appeared, her heart clearly heavy. Her voice was steady, but her words landed like a thunderclap. She shared that Uche Ojeh had passed away after a long, courageous battle with brain cancer. He was gone. The studio fell into silence. Viewers were in disbelief. This wasn't just the passing of a co-host's husband. It felt like the loss of someone they'd quietly grown to know alongside Sheinelle. People recalled the glimpses, the anniversary posts, those sweet birthday tributes, the affectionate photos of Uche kissing Sheinelle on the cheek. Suddenly all those moments carried a deeper meaning. And here's the part that's almost surreal. Just a few months earlier, Sheinelle had shared a carousel of wedding photos for their anniversary. She called him her partner in everything. She told the world about the life they had built together, a life full of laughter and love. And now, that chapter had come to a close. What set this story apart was that it wasn't just a headline. It was something real, something raw. You could sense the weight of it in every comment left beneath her post. Fans, colleagues, fellow journalists, one by one, they all reached out. "My heart hurts for you," one person wrote. "May your beloved husband rest in peace." And that wasn't just a comment. It was a wave of compassion from strangers who genuinely felt her grief. Her fellow anchors stood beside her like family. Savannah shared, "Sheinelle, my dearest, we love you and the kids with all our hearts. I'm in awe of your strength." Tamron Hall added, "Our prayers and love are with you." But what moved people most was the grace with which Sheinelle carried herself. She reposted the Today segment about Uche's passing and added only one line, "Thank you for all of your love and support." That was it. Simple, sincere, courageous. Because this wasn't just about a woman mourning her husband. It was about a family doing everything they could to stay steady through a storm. It was about a woman, recognized by millions every day, choosing silence to shield the man she loved. It was love in its truest form, battered by sorrow, but never broken. Once the news became public, something unexpected followed. People from across the globe, not just fans, but complete strangers, flooded Sheinelle's social media. Thousands of messages, heartfelt condolences, stories, prayers, and sorrow poured in. And again, one sentiment echoed, "I didn't know him, but I feel like I've lost someone too."
And then the rumors started swirling. Was she on vacation? Had she fallen ill? Did she quietly step away from the show? The reality was far more heartbreaking than anyone imagined. On January 15th, Sheinelle finally chose to speak out. She shared a short message on Instagram, "I'm taking time to deal with a family health matter." And that was all. No names, no context. Just a single sentence that raised more questions than it answered. But here's the shocking part behind that one sentence was a storm no one could have seen coming. People scoured her social media for clues, but everything seemed perfectly normal. That's the kind of quiet, unspoken bond Sheinelle and Uche shared with the world without ever trying. And let me tell you, people started looking back, scrolling through old posts, rediscovering forgotten little moments that now carried so much more weight. One stood out, a birthday tribute she'd written back in February 2023. It wasn't grand or flashy, just a slideshow of their journey together. The final image showed Uche gently kissing her cheek as she smiled, and the words over that photo were simple, "We're just getting started. Happy birthday." But here's the heartbreaking part. Just a little over a year later, that kiss became a final memory, one no one could have foreseen. And yet, in the middle of all that loss, something beautiful endured. A love story that began in Philadelphia, blossomed into a life full of meaning, and ended in quiet heartbreak now lives on in the hearts of millions. And that's exactly why, no matter what, this story will never truly end.